In today's video, we're going to be doing a room tour, because why not? Before we get started with my current setup, I would like to take a look at some of the setups I've had in the past. Now, it's important to bear in mind that when I had some of these first setups, I was a lot younger. In fact, this is what I looked like.
I like to play the drums.
Yes, I did in fact used to play the drums. Now, a lot of the photos and footage I have of my older setups are from various old videos, so I do apologise. The shots of the first setup I'm going to show you come from one of my old vlogs, which never even made it to YouTube. Take it away, past Ethan.
Now, a tour of my bedroom. Drums, speaker, iPod, bed, camera. Hi-fi wardrobe equals bedroom.
So in that footage there, you can see that I didn't actually have a computer on my desk. The first time I had a computer on my desk was the next iteration of my setup, which unfortunately I only have these two screenshots of from one of my old short films. But if we combine them together, ta-da, it's like you're in the room. Oh yeah, I do also have this screenshot so you can see how messy my desk was.
Hello, and welcome back to another vlog.
Yes, that's right, my next setup comes along with Shouty Ethan. Now that MacBook you can see in the background there is actually my MacBook Pro. The one that was in the previous setup was actually my dad's MacBook. The MacBook Pro here is my first ever computer and I still actually have it in my current setup. And that was the last setup I ever had in that bedroom. So with that, it was time for me to take down the cool wall and move into my new room where I had this setup. Yeah. I also brought my drums with me and I had a new addition to the room which I called the Chill Zone. This is where I had my mum and dad's old surround sound system which I plugged my laptop in and used to watch films. It was awesome. Kind of. The next upgrade I did was to get a widescreen monitor, which allowed me to have this monitor in my chill zone. Shortly after this, I also added a mixing desk and condenser microphone, which allowed me to record my short little radio shows that I used to make. As you can see under my desk, the cable management is terrible, and also my dog is sleeping there. Now this is where my setup started to progress to where it is now. As you can see on the left there, I have an IKEA unit with a PC and my mixing desk, and then on the right I've got my MacBook with its monitor as well. This setup went through a few different iterations where I added a little bit more space to the left hand side. The next big change is I decided to build my own computer, and my setup got a little bit more simple. I've only got one screen for my PC as you can see, and I've just got my MacBook not plugged into a monitor. And then I decided to get some more monitors, but my setup was starting to get a little bit messy. So I had a bit of a tidy up, which pretty much brings us to today. Okay, so we are outside my room, my current setup. This is of course the door, quite an integral part of the room. Got a few things stuck to this door. Got a poster that I made here, just displaying the fact that I am a Linus Tech Tips fan. Quite like watching their videos, they're very informative and just entertaining in general. So you've got Luke and Linus there, and then Linus Tech Tips fan, it's a fan that they made. It's great. Pun. Anyway, I've got this sign just warning people that I am a tech geek. Only ask me a tech question if you really want to know the answer, because I will go on for ages about it. And then we've got this little makeshift sign that I made, which is basically like a studio recording light that's not great, but it's better than nothing. There's a little red LED there. I've got a battery pack attached to the back of the door, so I can just flick this switch here if I can find it. There we go. And that turns on the little red light there, just lets people know that I'm recording and not to come into the room. However, they usually do anyway. So yeah, that's good. So we'll probably just go inside the room now. So if you'd like to come in. So this area here is the bit that I call the corridor area. It's kind of cool. When I designed the room, I just felt like I needed a corridor, so I did. And it's also the area where I store everything. So I've got this massive shelf here. Going from the top to the bottom, we've got this shelf, which is where I keep all my boxes of things. I've got stuff for my computer, like RAM here, motherboard, there's graphics card, hard drive. This is what is left over of the original cool wall in here. And then moving down to the next shelf, we've got this, which is a radio scanner, which basically allows me to tune into air traffic control when I go plane spotting at Manchester. I've got this. This is a compu cleaner, which is basically just a glorified air compressor. Basically I use this for cleaning out my computer when it gets dusty. Then I've just got some spare peripherals here, like keyboards, and then also my flight sim joystick and throttle, which I use when I'm playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. Moving down to the shelf below, just got a random assortment of stuff. I've got this, which is my tool bag. I've got screwdrivers, that sort of thing in here, which I use when I'm doing my computer videos or when I'm just doing maintenance on my computer. Got some spare cables and stuff, just spare power cables, network cable. This stuff is mainly out of use and or broken. So I've got a few dead hard drives here, fans for computers, more hard drives. Moving down to the shelf below that, I have a load of stuff that I use when I'm doing creative, like media-y stuff. So I've got some XLR cables, there's some speaker wire. This is my camera in here. I've got some mounts for my fake GoPro there and some random juggling balls and then stuff for my microphone. And then the shelf below that, I've got some cool posters I got from Comic-Con. These ones that are rolled up are actually Ed's World posters and ASDF posters. I think they're signed by Tomska, and the Ed's World ones are also signed by Matt from Ed's World, so that's quite cool. Then underneath that I've got this 172 model of the Concorde, which at some point I would like to build, but I haven't had time yet, or I don't have any space to actually put that once I build it. And then the last shelf on there is just a load of random crap, really. It's the stuff that I need to sort through. I've got some DVDs, what are those? So then we move round to the modified cool wall, and this is also my dressing table, but I just thought I want to have something here that's kind of cool to look at when I'm getting dressed in the morning. So I've got some inspirational quotes here. These are all from these things called Yogi Teas. And then I've got in the centre, I've got this quote by the Dalai Lama that is, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. I am quite small, by the way, in case you've never met me in person, so I quite like that one. It just tickles me a little bit. And then up here I've got something I think is quite important to have, is long-term and short-term goals, which I put together the other week. I've got just a little doodle that I did, and then just things I want to achieve in the long term, things I want to do in the short term. And then I've just got cards that people have made for me over the years that I think are quite cool. I've got a series of TARDIS ones. And then of course we've got Steve Jobs down here, because you've got to have Steve Jobs on your dressing table. It just helps you make your skin feel fresh and everything in the morning. And round the corner from there, we've got a Top Gear poster, because everyone needs a Top Gear poster. Because why not? Of course, it's from before Top Gear all fell apart and stuff, so it's the original 3 people. Got a poster that's from when Walk Off the Earth came to Rock City. Then down here, this is just kind of where I chuck my bags when I'm not using them. So I've got this quite cool larger bag, which is a rucksack as well as a man bag. Fit quite a lot of stuff in there, like a laptop and things. And I've got my smaller bag for when I don't need as much stuff. And then here is my windowsill. So I've got this cool little World War II bomber plane. That's just a little model, I'm not sure what the scale is. Got just plants as you do on the windowsill. Got this tiny little plane here. This is quite a cool little thermometer here. One of my friends bought me this for my birthday, but it basically just the bottom one here indicates how warm it is. Which brings us around to the main piece of the setup, which is my desk. So of course every good desk setup needs a good chair. This is a GT Omega Racing. It's relatively inexpensive for a chair of this style, but it's a racing chair. It's like a bucket seat. You can pretty much do whatever you want with this. The back goes back, the forwards it goes up and down, tilts pretty much. You can adjust it to your liking. It's just really comfortable. And then here we actually have my setup. So right here, this is my custom built PC. I built this a couple of years ago now. You've probably seen it on the channel before if you've watched any of my other videos. I've got 2 monitors for this. I've got my main monitor here, which is a 1080p, slightly rubbish VGA panel, another VGA one here. I use as a secondary one. And then I've also got these. They work, but they're not the best thing in the world. But when you're working on a bit of a budget, it's kind of good to just have a keyboard that works. If we move around here, this is my mixing desk. This is a Behringer 1204 USB. Wouldn't massively recommend that you get one of these. Bit overkill for a setup like this. And it's a little bit temperamental. I've also got my studio condenser mic, which is also Behringer, I can't remember the model name, but I use this for when I'm talking to people on Skype or Discord, or even if I'm mainly just for recording voiceovers and stuff for videos. I've got this amp, which I did a review of a while ago. Again, don't buy that, it's crap. And then these are just Acoustic Solution speakers I got for a tenner second hand. Then over here, This is my MacBook Pro. The main reason I have this is not because I necessarily need it, it's just this is my first computer I ever got, and it's good to have a laptop, so I just have it set up here on this All-Stars box, as you do. Another, I'm not sure what resolution this is, but it's somewhere in between 720p and 1080p, just sat on top of a drawer. And then underneath these two taped together desks, we have a power line Ethernet adapter. So basically what these allow you to do is you've got one plugged in downstairs next to the router, and basically it takes an Ethernet cable and then sends that signal through the power cables in your house. So then that comes over here to this desktop Ethernet switch, which splits off and sends an Ethernet to my MacBook and to my desktop. I've also got these here, which are just obviously, this is where I plug in on my PC. Then over here I've got some Samsung studio monitors. Over here, more power, that's just for my MacBook, my mixing desk and everything over there. And that's pretty much my desk setup. So that means we can move on to over here. So this is where I used to have my, what I call chill zone, but obviously it's not anymore. One major reason I don't really use this anymore is that I'm no longer small enough to actually walk underneath it. So if we duck down under here, it mainly just used for storage. I've got some spare monitors down here, some microphone stands. This is quite cool. I got this from the Eden project. Yeah, that's why I'm not a musician. Got some bongos, a recorder, because why not? Singing bowl. This is the A380 I bought in Toulouse, which sounds a lot cooler than it is. Toulouse is where the factory is, where they actually assemble all the A380s, but this is, I think, a 1/200 scale model of an A380. So I really like this. This is really cool. The A380 is, of course, my favourite plane. In fact, if we turn around, I have got a poster of it there on the wall, which I forgot to point out to you. And then to the right of that, this is a photo I took at Manchester Airport that my dad very kindly had printed on a canvas for me for Christmas. This is a puppet I made at school quite a while ago called Farnold. Starred in a few films. I could probably link them below. This is just a cool little spinny thing. So if I spin it up like that, let go of it, it just bounces up and down, does its thing. More planes over here. These are some that my grandpa put together. These are Airfix models. I think this one's a Spitfire and I think this one's a Messerschmitt or something. No, it's not. It's got a French flag on it. I don't know what it is. Just hung them so they're dive bombing. Got some posters back here that I made from a Top Gear calendar. And that brings us pretty much to the end. And I've got my ladder here that just goes up to my bed, which is where I sleep. So that's pretty much the entirety of my room. That brings us to why I did this room tour in the first place. So basically, my plan is that next weekend, pretty much this entire setup that I've just shown you is going to be pretty much torn apart. Basically, that's to make way for my new setup, and I really wanted to just document it before I tear it apart, because I'm quite happy with where this has got to, but I feel like I want to move on and make it just more epic, because obviously it's on a budget, it's basic. I'm using a Converse All-Stars box to put my MacBook on. It's obviously not ideal. I know that this isn't the best setup in the world, but I like it, so I wanted to document it. I'm going to tear this apart. I've got a plan for a new setup. It's going to take quite a while. Once I've done that, I will do a video documenting that as well, and that should be awesome. So before I go, just want to say a massive thank you to Herbie, who's behind the camera. Very kindly offered to come and film this on his lovely 4K camera and everything. I will link to his channel below and there'll be a link at the end. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.